Here's Neil.
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to the THC show. I'm your host Neil Magnuson, and this is the show about THC, truth, hope, and change, and of course THC tetrahydrocannabinol. On the show today we'll have 8 out of 10 Glenn, of course. Join me for the 420 session and a little bit beyond. There might not be a little much beyond today. We'll see how it goes. And we'll talk a little bit about the CSP, the out-of-town CSPs, the Healing Wave RV, and all that kind of stuff. So thank you for tuning in today. Hope you're having a great day out there. It's stellar weather here in Vancouver. It's like summer has descended on us all at once, and that's kind of great. What I wanted to mention off the top was the fundraiser that we had out in Surrey on Saturday for the CSP from Langley, Surrey, and Newton. This is the 4th or 5th incarnation of a fundraiser in Surrey at Holland Park. Prior to this, there's been zero interference from anybody. No authorities have shown up. Nothing's been said. But on Saturday, apparently they got wind of it. That there was some tents setting up in Holland Park. They were playing music, and there was weed involved. So the RCMP and the Surrey City Police and the city bylaw mobilized their units and came to put down the threat. The threat of illegal weed in the park must be very, very dangerous. There were no fewer than 10 RCMP SUV cruisers, plus there was another 4 city police cruisers, plus there was 2 bylaw cruisers, all showed up to meet the threat head on. I asked them who they were serving and protecting with all of that amazing force they were showing. Was it the fentanyl dealers or was it Trudeau and the Trudeau cartel? Well, it must have been the fentanyl dealers, because the RCMP said they don't like Trudeau. It's getting bad, though.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do we have that other mic? We're not using that?
No, I didn't put it up. I do have it. Right, I forgot it.
I don't know, maybe we need that. I'm not sure.
Sure, I can do that. Yeah.
Apparently, when I'm not using the other mic, I sound like I'm in a phone or something like that. I'd say phone booth, but nobody knows what a phone booth is anymore.
Not anymore, yeah.
So there they were, all of these Gestapo with guns and bulletproof vests and their chests all puffed out. I mean, the main sergeant guy that was in charge there, like Hulk Hogan's big brother, all stern-faced and wearing sunglasses and telling us we can't be there. We can't have our event. I said, you guys are peace officers, and I don't know what you're all doing here, but there is nobody that's going to be harmed here today. We don't need you. This is not what your role in our society is all about. But I guess if you're protecting the prime miscreant's, monopoly on weed, his cartel, well, you got to show force to any rival gangs that might spring up, like the CSP gang. I said, you guys realize what you're doing here? You're interfering with people that are trying to save people's lives. He said, whose life are you saving? I said, well, we've been running the operation of the CSP in Vancouver for over 7 years now. We got hundreds of people that we've saved from addiction and likely saved their lives in the process. He said, who are you protecting here? Who are you saving here? Nobody. So there was more conversation and what have you.
The other side. Yes,
hair.
So much hair showing up on the camera.
Well, that's the hair and makeup people.
Is that for the hair and makeup? You got a lot showing up there. So
really?
I like maybe you got a cap on your shoulder.
I'm firing this group too. Oh, they quit already. I can't fire them. They quit every week. I got to get new people in. They go, we can't work with that.
You cut your hair in the...
Somebody
okay.
Did a little trimming around the ears, it was getting out of control there. The jacket had been put back here.
Yeah, I was just noticing.
But I guess it must have got on there anyway.
It's like you should years old.
Yeah, is it still there?
Yeah, it's still there.
What do you mean?
Well, because it's underneath your shirt. It's on your T-shirt.
Oh, it's on the.
It's on the T-shirt.
It's on my. Oh, there we go.
On there, yeah, up top there, yeah.
Oh boy,
yeah.
It's hard to find good hair and makeup, people.
Sweater.
Got my beautiful Black Creek shirt on.
Yeah, there you go. I got one of those too.
Yeah,
I love them.
I love Black Creek. So anyway, that's what happened out there in Surrey. Now, what they eventually ended up saying was, well, you guys just keep the music down and keep the low profile for about 30 minutes, and then we'll be gone, and then you can have your event, and we're probably not coming back. So although they did knock a bit of the stuffing out of the event, and some people did leave, they had forced people to take their tents down prior to that. I would have liked to have seen those tents go back up. I think that's you can't protect yourself from the sun with a little bit of shade on a hot sunny day if you're protesting against bad government policy. No shade for you. Just ridiculous. So short of that, we had a very good fundraiser out there. I managed to pull off another rendition of O Cannabis. I'm not sure how many more of those I got left in me, but we did that, and just so thrilled to see all of the people that are now part of the CSP. We are an incredible team, or incredible teams, really, with only about half of them, if that, represented there out in Surrey, but there was still a lot. Gary and Bridget with their volunteers were out there. Rosie was there, but she left when the cops got pushy about it. Not sure why, but she's got some issues there that she needed to protect, so that's fine. But Dan and his crew of people were all there. We talked a little bit about the people in Halifax and how long it's been running there for over 5 years now. We've got another cannabis substitution program has sprung up in Ottawa. There's one going on in Mission. Surrey, Newton, and Langley were all represented, and Vancouver were all represented out there in Surrey on Saturday. So it's becoming quite a family, quite a crew. And it sure warms my heart to see all of that. Meanwhile, it must be doing the opposite to the government, who wants nothing to do with it. They do not want interference with their monopolization and monetization and weaponization of the overdose crisis. They are quite happy to have it where it is. They get to say they're doing something about it as they pump millions of dollars into the Friends' pockets to say that they're helping people with safe supply and safe equipment and all that kind of stuff. But let's just keep it all going because it's a gravy train, both financially and of political currency. And they want nothing to do with us because we would like to see this end. We would like to see people stop losing their loved ones. And we would like to see cannabis able to be accessed reasonably. So the fight is on, apparently. And it's coming right up. We're going to be in court in 1 week from today. This is a preliminary hearing for the charges that were laid 2 years ago against myself and a couple of my colleagues for selling without a license. And the Crown will get their opportunity to prove to the judge that they've got enough evidence that we're selling without a license, that it can move forward, and then comes the constitutional challenge in July. So we're hoping it gets there. We don't know what ruling to expect. I mean, it could be that the judge says this is nonsense, leave these people alone, give them some sort of a license, and slap their wrists. Don't know if that's going to happen or not. In a logical, reasonable world, that's likely what should happen. The judge would get a sense of the case that the Crown is bringing, and they'd get a sense of who we are and what we're doing here, and say, Crown, why are you wasting tax dollars to try to thwart an initiative to address the opioid crisis? That makes no sense. Oh, I see. It's making money. That's why you're doing it. It's making money for you guys who are putting in all kinds of hours for prosecuting this team of people. And it's making money for all the government stores that they don't want to have to compete with prices less than what they're charging. So there'll be no low barrier access to cannabis on Trudeau's watch. He's going to make sure that they maximize profits for their corporate buddies and for themselves. And they're gleaning a huge amount of tax dollars out of this. The sale of beer and cigarettes has now been surpassed by the sale of cannabis. The consumption of alcohol is down right across Canada, especially amongst young people, as they figure it out. Alcohol is a crappy way to spend your weekend, compared to cannabis, which is a pretty fun way to spend your weekend. So, we'll see what happens in the future. But for right now, the evil empire of authorities is still hell-bent on maintaining the prohibition of cannabis for the people that need it the most. And they're hell-bent on maintaining all of that money flowing into the pockets of themselves and their friends for having a prohibition on this plant. It is insane and disgusting. Meanwhile, we have a world where everybody is so confused about what's right and wrong. You can buy whatever science you want, it seems. They're talking about having a special Wikipedia page that'll just tell the truth. Wouldn't that be nice? The truth. The truth is that people have a natural right not to be bullied. That nobody brings anybody into this world other than the parents. And even they don't have ownership of that new person that's brought here. Just like they're not supposed to be owned by their parents, and their parents weren't supposed to be owned by the parents before them. No, you're given guardianship as parents of the new ones that you bring into this world. For a short period of time, a relatively short period of time, you do get to tell them what to do and what not to do. They may or may not obey. You may or may not have punishments for all of that. But that's the reality of life. Essentially, people are born here, and after that stint with their guardians and parents, nobody is the boss of them anymore unless they agree to it. You want to enter into an arrangement where somebody's going to somehow compensate you for giving up your freedom to them? That's your business. That is business. That's how things work. But it's all limited. And it's certainly not about public servants. That's the opposite, right? Public servants are not paying you to do as you're told. You're paying them. We take money that we own and give it to the public servants so that they will protect us and work for us. That's what's supposed to be going on here. We're supposed to be free people. Apparently we won our freedoms through world wars and other skirmishes and all the rest of it, but apparently not. Apparently not. If you live in a dictatorship or a kingdomship or someplace where there's some sort of a person in charge that wasn't elected, well, you've just been kidnapped, that's all. It's not like they have the right to do that, to take over masses of people and then dictate to them what they can and cannot do. They only succeed by force and fear. People otherwise wouldn't respond to that. There's millions of people throughout history and today in the world living in fear of their government, in fear of their dictator, in fear of their king, or whatever it may be. It's the opposite of what should be going on. It's upside down and backwards. If you're a king, pharaoh, dictator, prime miscreant, or whatever you are, president, that does not give you a license to be able to bully and scare people into your bidding, whatever that might be, while you line your pockets with their earned money. You have a responsibility as the head of state in whatever capacity that is, to protect the people, to protect their sovereignty, their freedom, their rights. You have no other rights to take their rights away. I don't care if you took over by force. It's wrong. In a world where we're all trying to figure out what's right and what's wrong, that's wrong. It's wrong when it's done by a king. It's wrong when it's done by a pharaoh. It's wrong when it's done by a dictator. And it's definitely wrong, but no more wrong, when it's done by a public servant. People need to wake up and recognize the threat that is ongoing to the next generation and the generation after that by these major, super rich, unethical corporations that have our politicians right where they want them, in their hip pocket. We need to be concerned about these things. Complacency is complicit. People that think, oh, well, I'm okay with it, I can live within this, they're encouraging it to exist. If you're not actively fighting to maintain your rights and your freedoms, and you're just going along to get along, then you're part of the problem. This affects us all. If one person or group is not free, none of us are free. And as long as that's the case, we have an obligation to try to do something about that. And it shouldn't be something that's forced on us. We should want to help. If you care about your world, if you care about the people that are in your realm, if you care about the future generations, then you should care about how our rights are being trampled and taken away from us on a daily basis. Every new administration that's put in power strips us of more rights, makes more laws, comes up with more taxes. Everybody here that's anybody here was born into it. It's just the way it is. They gave great lip service to keep it all going. There's speeches by the prime ministers and the presidents and everybody. I didn't reset my clock to make it ring at 4:19. It's 4:19.
You got me.
I got Glenn. He's as reliable as a watch. That's for sure. So it's 4:19. You got like less than a minute to hear what I got to say, and then we can light one up and talk about things a little more frivolous. And Glenn, why don't you come on in here?
Sure.
It's
the camera, so
it's almost 4:20.
it's almost 4:20.
Yeah. What do you got going on today?
Oh, not much. Enjoying the nice weather. It's
Beautiful out
spring
here.
is here at 8:06 p.m.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, tonight. Yeah. So
And then what? It's not summer
and
anymore.
it's not winter anymore.
This is summer now.
Not tomorrow. Tomorrow's only going to be 10.
So we're going from summer today to
Yeah.
spring tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be like spring today.
Welcome
and
to the
then
west coast
winter
of Canada.
again tomorrow.
And then winter again the next day.
Good afternoon, Douglas.
Hey Doug.
Happy 420, everybody.
Happy 420.
Yes.
420. Speaking of 420.
420. We got. I've been getting some questions and stuff. So.
I don't know what I want to say.
Well, there's
You know, there's people coming here.
Yep.
There's a lot of people who have an inside track on, where we might be having some protests going on here. I'm going to leave it at that. There's the head of the protests has been severely splintered into several smaller heads, and there's a bunch of stuff going on. So if the mayor of this town, who's the most ridiculously rude and brutal mayor we've ever had here, if he thinks that he can just fence off one park and that's the end of us having our protests, well, I think he's got another thought coming. That this community will not tolerate that sort of interference, and we are not done protesting this so-called legalization, which is nothing but fake legalization, an attempted hostile takeover of the cannabis industry by the new cartel in town, run by, of all people, the Prime Minister, or I like to call him the Prime Miscreant. That's my new term for him, of Canada here. These people are criminals. For anybody, I would like to know who made the decision to send out all those police officers to try to deal with a small group of activists trying to protest bad laws.
Maybe the park board.
I didn't see any of them.
No. Well, they were there because they were parked in their trucks. The ones
no, bylaw. That's bylaw.
That was bylaw. Who was blocking out the geese from the park?
But
wasn't that the park people that was blocking out the geese? They put the fence up,
at
right?
Thornton Park.
Yes.
Oh, you're talking about Thornton Park now.
Yeah,
I was talking about the display of cops in Surrey on Saturday.
Well, you're talking about
a similar display to what we had at Cannabis Day here in Vancouver, where the mayor put his fence up.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens, for 420 this year. We'll see what plans the mayor has. Maybe he's got several different teams of anti-420 cops that are going to be scouring the city to put down any obvious protests or smoke-ins. We don't know.
No, we don't.
We don't know what he's got going on.
Wait and see, right?
Boy, that was quite a puff of smoke.
I know. I've been doing that for our show.
You were totally blocked out.
Yeah, that's good. As I said, we were talking about X-Files. You can call me the Smoky Man.
Did you want to come on and say some things?
Spicoli's there.
We have Spicoli in the house. And there's seldom a time when Spicoli doesn't want to say something, so we'll bring him on in here.
Bring it in here. See if we can get you in here.
I can say a lot of things. Hey, first of all, I can say that it's a shame how the Surrey and whatever happened to you on the weekend, because I just only seen a blip on my Facebook shit.
No, we survived it.
I'm sorry I'm late, but it's better late than fucking never.
Yeah. That's it, in most cases. And in Surrey, we survived it. We continued to have the rally right till the end, or the protest right till the end. The cops went away and never came back. It's a win.
So that's a win. And like you're saying, we'll see what happens at the 420. And here's what I have to say, though. I'm off to Mexico on Thursday in only 2 days.
Wow.
I see.
But I'm still gonna tomorrow stop by and donate some love papers for the cannabis substitution project.
Have you warned the people in Mexico that you're coming?
No, they kind of know already. They fucking know I'm coming. So we're gonna do a little bit of a love shout out to my friends that are giving the papers at the WeGotTheGoods.ca. So if you ever need some fucking love buds, you need some pre-rolls or some fucking soft packs, or you need some fucking vape pens, my guys at We Got The Goods have got you covered.
We do.
And,
top shelf.
And top shelf motherfucking BC buds.
Yeah. And it's good, bud.
These are the best papers.
Yep, I have a box of them myself.
I'm going for my final teeth restoration in Mexico on Thursday.
Oh, get teeth too?
Yeah, I'm getting new chiclets. I'm going to get new chiclets.
Sterling got new teeth. I got new teeth. You got new teeth.
We're going to all get new chiclets.
When am I getting new teeth?
You don't need
Look out, girls. Nicoli's got teeth.
No. Don't look out, girls. There's only one girl for me, and that's my rock and my love, my Megan Massini.
How's that going? How's the restaurant going?
We shut that restaurant down.
Did you?
We had a thief in the house, and that it was unfortunate, but man, we had to move on and keep the relationship going on instead of in the restaurant.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
So there's no more Cookie Nanner's Kitchen, community kitchen, but we're gonna maybe think about reinventing and maybe doing something on a food truck level, or doing something a little bit different that way. But on my way back from Mexico after my chiclets are done too, I'm stopping in Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop in that Joe Rogan's comedy mothership.
Oh yeah.
And I might spit some dumb fucking truth about the fucking communist Trudeau fucking government.
You'll love that.
And a bunch of other stuff. So, anyways, look out, fucking Mexico. And then look out fucking Austin, Texas,
Make sure-
because I'm on the hunt and I'm coming.
I
see.
think
So-
that we
Nice.
should mention ourselves to Joe Rogan, and maybe he'll have us on his show because he seems to be a supporter of that kind of stuff. So
Quite
maybe while
possibly,
you're
man.
there, yeah.
I'm just going to go
I
rub some
can't go down there
elbows
because
and
I can't cross the border. So
I'm going to rub some elbows and talk some shit because, man, we all know the fuck is up, man. Give us a fucking break. Fucking legalize this shit already and
Properly.
leave us the fuck alone, man. Leave us
Yeah.
alone.
Government has no business in the pot business.
no.
That is just wrong. That after all their persecution of our movement for 100 years here, of all the tax dollars they've wasted, all the lives that they've ruined, they have no business in the pot business.
No business.
Their business is to say they're sorry and get the hell out of the way. They're certainly not making anything any better.
No.
So, although for their investors, I'm sure, well, it depends on what level of investment.
whoever's the fucking corporation in the canopy or whoever's in those dirty little fucking money hungry pockets. You know who's not in this pocket? Well, never mind. Anyways, I was gonna say Sophie, but fucking she's probably still in his and other.
I hear she's not happy with his cannabis policy.
Well, who would be?
Who would be exactly?
Fuck.
Only the people that are getting making bank off
She's
it.
releasing a book about how it was with him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it just was.
Oh, I bet you he's gonna love that.
But anyway,
I want to read that one.
You want to read that one?
Yeah, that's some fucked up shit. But so, hey, so do we know what's going on at 420? Are we going to the art gallery? Or are we going to
We
the
are
park?
not saying nothing.
We don't. Nobody knows yet.
Oh, we know.
But
we know.
we're
I'll
going
tell-
to announce
We'll
closer
talk
to
to
the
you,
time.
I'll tell you privately what's going
off
on.
camera.
But
right, well-
we're gonna do the best we can. I gotta get back over in the camera range here. We gotta do the best we can to try to stay off that evil mayor's radar, so he doesn't waste a whole bunch more tax dollars to interfere with what we're doing. I mean, I appreciate the fact that he's willing to expose himself as a tyrant and expose this whole situation for how wrong it is. That's always good to talk about. But, you know, it's so wrong and it's so costly, and it really pisses me off that we had come this far as a movement only to have a mayor come along and decide that he can take, what, $60,000-$70,000 and put up a fence around a huge park and keep everybody out, including the geese, and then bring in about 50 or 60 armed police officers making double, triple time on a holiday weekend to just intimidate, scare, and chase off protesters.
And geese.
I mean, and the geese.
And the geese. Can't forget the geese.
Oh, man.
Hey, scare out the geese.
Yeah.
Hey, in case you need one of these in your life, and you probably do. This is a banana Laffy Taffy, and you get a peach lollipop.
Oh, thank you very much.
You
So
get
this
a-
is actually-
get a-
Thank you.
This
I
is
love
actually,
This is a pen, yeah.
These
so-
are pens.
Yeah, so
are
you
they
just pull-
disposable?
Yeah,
They're
you just pull
disposable,
on
but
it.
they're 2 grams. They're 2 grams, but man,
Wow.
Just go like this.
they got. Are you ready for this?
Okay.
It's THC.
You pressing a button there?
No, I just pulled on it.
Where the fuck
Well, there's
are
a
my
button
glasses?
there.
Take this off, yeah.
It's a live resin blend with some fucking DH9 THC and some distillate and then some full spectrum extract and some fucking terpenes.
And it's so tasty. That was really tasty.
No,
Peach. Nice. That's nice.
Are you still fucking sucking?
Yeah, there you go. See?
Baby.
That's what I said. Yeah, if you want a bigger cup, push the button.
Anyway,
If you want the smaller
Grab
cup,
some of these. Grab some of these beauties
Yes.
if you need from the fucking We Got the Goods fucking Love Humans on the website. We Got the Goods website. And grab whatever the fuck you need to grab.
These
Just
are
don't-
really
don't
good.
grab me.
Oh, man.
And you can-
Yeah, that was a good hit.
That was a good hit, wasn't
That
it?
tasted like banana.
And mine's peach.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
just tastes like peach.
Oh, it tastes like peach for sure.
And we got different
Yeah,
colors on there. We got
yeah.
the yellow for the banana.
And we're not fucking around over there
No.
because my love
Damn
humans,
good. It
my
hit
love
me
humans,
well.
no, they're using the natural terpenes and the fucking, none of that Chinese weird xylophone, weird shit stuff. It's just
Good.
the natural is the goodest of
So
the
where do
good.
people get these if they want them? And
We got the goods.ca, man, and or
We got the
we're
goods.ca.
probably gonna see you at 420 somewhere.
yeah,
Wherever
And
we
it's-
are,
and
wherever
yeah,
the fuck
you'll
we
be there.
are.
You'll be there.
Oh, I'm gonna be there with the cannon, man.
Yeah.
You'll be
Oh.
there.
So what's the price point on these then?
We're not allowed to say on Facebook.
Yeah, we're not allowed to see other television.
We're not, that'll get us in trouble.
Check out the
But
website.
Just check out the website, yeah.
Okay.
We're not allowed to do that.
All right.
We're not allowed to do that.
If I know
sorry.
Spicoli, they're fairly reasonable.
No, hey, man, I steal from Peter to pay Paul. Because that's the way it should be, man.
I'm going after Paul, then.
Don't go after Paul.
Paul owes me. I'm going to hit him up. If you're paying him with Peter's money, I want some of that.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
What about the middleman?
Not just everybody gotta fucking do what they gotta do because you gotta have 2 fucking jobs, 4 jobs, 5 side hustles just to even fucking afford some itchy bag.
What's the website?
My motherfucker.
The website is, what is it?
We got the goods.
We got the goods.ca.
If you go to if you got the goods.ca, then you can have the goods.
Yes, and you can find out how much these are.
And then you can fucking. But hey, we're all gonna have a massive fucking 420 family potluck jamboree, no matter
I imagine we will.
whatever the fuck
It's gonna be
happens.
fun.
It
always is.
There's not enough sales for all of us.
Even in the rain last year, when it was pouring rain, we still had fun.
What a 420 that was.
Oh, it was great.
Were you there,
right?
Spicoli?
Yeah.
For 420 last year? Yeah.
Hey, I tried
you had
to
the love
fucking
cannon.
have the love cannon, suck that biggest joint.
Yeah.
You tried that big motherfucker joint, man. Oh,
That's
sorry,
right.
kids, earmuffs.
That was quite the fiasco, that joint.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was there, but
Wow.
hey, it was.
It was that Crook guy.
Yes.
Was it there?
His name was
it?
Crook.
He was a crook.
Dale Crook. Or
He
Cook.
was a crook.
Cook or Crook?
Cook the crook.
Crook.
He's a
Yeah.
crook.
Yeah.
He's a crook. Don't ever trust him. If you got some guy that even looks like Dale Crook, look at him upwards and sideways and inside out, because that guy was a nasty crook and caused all kinds of money loss for myself, for one. I can't speak for other people, but I'm sure there was. And the whole joint thing was a fiasco. Never worked.
No.
Shouldn't have been done the way that he was doing it anyway, putting a great big cardboard core
Well, he never intended
in the
to
middle
do
of
it anyway, so he just...
That's right, he never intended to do it, really.
It was a rip-off thing,
He just wanted to get all that weed he could get together, and then the day before 420 call me and say, "Oh my God, somebody stole the trailer with all the weed in it.
Yeah.
We can't do it now." And I'm like, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. We know some people. So we put together more weed than he had stolen. And we had a team of people roll that stuff up. But they, to make it work, because it would be very unstable without some sort of core in there. But it should have been a mesh metal core that wouldn't burn and wouldn't send off toxic fumes as the burn is coming past it. Something like that. Maybe glass.
Yeah.
But unbreakable glass. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an engineer. I'm not the expert. But to have a big cardboard core, which was it's the start of a roll of carpet, right? They get the big thick cardboard roll there, and they roll the carpet up on it. I had to go to carpet stores to get that, and I'm calling him saying, "What are we using this for?" And he said, "Well, it's going to be in the middle of the joint." I said, "It's going to burn with the rest of the joint?" "Oh yeah." I said, "Oh no, no, I'm not going to be part of that." And at the very least, I'm going to be warning everybody that's what's going on there. So anybody that thinks they want to go take a big hoot off of that world's biggest joint should think twice about it, because that cardboard is all glue.
Yeah.
So anyway, what a fiasco that was. And
I
Dale
would have
Rook,
wrapped that in a nice thin rice paper, so it would have burned a lot.
Maybe something like that.
A rice paper would have been really good.
Yeah.
Right. So then, because he wrapped it in like a blunt wrap, wasn't it? And it was really thick for.
Well, it was a paper company that supplied the paper. It was pretty thick.
Yeah, it's pretty thick.
But it had to be.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was a problem with the paper, but boy, that cardboard thing inside there was just a nightmare. That should never have been in there at all. And
Yeah, he's dabbing now.
So
dabbing?
Yeah.
This is all concentrates, man.
Yabba dabba do, man. This is some live res. This is some tangy.
Oh, nice.
And buddy, that's been cured for fucking almost. I bet you that's almost close to a year old.
Sit down so we can see on.
Fuck, nobody wants to see this ugly fucking.
I bought him his first rig and his first torch over there.
And basically, I've gone to this, which is highly laden in concentrates. I'll take that and I'll smear it on a paper. I'll put some honey oil on there, sprinkle in a little bit of diamonds, and then a little bit of flour because they got to have some flour in there.
Maybe give you a little bit of
let's show the people.
Clear.
There you go. This is what he'll be smoking. Oh, it's so nice. Look at that, eh? Again, tell him
what?
the good site to go to.
We got the goods.
We got the goods. .ca. You got it.
But man, yeah,
I'd like to.
They got lots of the mother. And so I already did those eat a bag of dicks, but some people, well, those are for Trudeau mostly. And fucking all the
just
politicians.
Just throw some dicks at his face.
And the people that fucking come up with these gas prices. But man, I got a new one coming out. It's going to be tits and bits or something because some guys are too homophobic and I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But we're going to have some titties and bitties and some other things and some different varieties. But that's going to be
as you're having fun.
We're launching some wild shit for 420 because it's 420, man. And 420 is a celebration of motherfucking weed.
Yeah, music.
And a continuing protest.
Yeah.
Well, it is, man.
It is. It's a protestable.
Protestable.
It's a protestable. We're having a festival where we're protesting. Protestable. Nothing to do with testicles.
No.
That's another thing altogether.
We're not even there.
Speaking of homophobic and what have you.
Yeah, we don't even want to go there.
No, it's a protestable. And so
what's going on with court? You got court?
I got court coming up next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
I'll be in Mexico.
That's the 26th, 27th,
so everybody
28th.
should come out and fucking support and fucking, honestly, man.
We have it in the...
Get out of here. You got it on the thing.
Yeah, we got it on the
Go help this love human because he's been helping you, man. For the love of motherfucking love.
Well, this is for everybody, right?
222 Main Street.
Well, it's not for the licensed
Tuesday,
producers.
Wednesday, and Thursday, 9 a.m. Come on down for the pre-court session.
Pre-court session, 9 o'clock, out front of the courthouse there.
Come smoke in front of a courthouse.
We'll do a live stream feed of what it's all about. We're going to tell the story of the corruption that's going on at the federal level of our government here in Canada, and how this legal weed that they're talking about is only by the rich and for the rich, and everybody else is still a criminal here, and the prices are beyond reach for the people that really need it. And our movement has always been about protecting those people, getting the medical users what it is that they need at prices they can afford. And legalization was supposed to do that.
No.
But instead, the prices that the government is charging is above what it always was on the unregulated market.
Yeah.
So, we got lots of reason to protest, and we're certainly going to do that. And we're going to do that in front of the courthouse at 9 o'clock, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, coming up next week. And we'll let you in on it. That's something to tune in for. We'll do a live commentary going in, a little brief history of what we're doing there, why the government thinks it's okay to spend upwards of $1 million on trying to punish me and stop us from providing what we're providing here. And we'll talk about that. And then we'll go in and see what the judge has to say and come out at the end and give a little recap and a summary of how the story is moving forward.
Yeah.
Deadly, man. I'm sad I'm going to be gone, but I'm going to probably, hopefully, try to check it out while I'm away.
Well, you'll be able to see the live feeds.
And honestly, too, love humans. Just fucking keep watching, supporting, and fucking keep up the good fucking fight because...
Well, this is about freedom.
It's far from over, and we're losing our freedoms. We all know as the moments pass on or tick on, and it's despicable.
They're working hard to get people to accept unacceptable situations, and they do it all the time, and you just have to go along with it, even though it's unacceptable. But so people need to just give their head a little shake. Think about it a little bit, like. Maybe do a 360 or something and think about it. Just step back for a moment. Imagine you're just an observer of the situation. What's going on here? A whole bunch of people are lining up to get this particular herb, this plant that grows, and it's being tightly controlled by different, like the cartels in Mexico. The different things going on. Even in Amsterdam now, they're going to start to flex their muscles a little bit. The government is. They're going to require regulation of all the suppliers.
I was just in Amsterdam in fucking last December. Amsterdam is. This is the first time I've been, but Amsterdam is not what Amsterdam was.
So what we thought it was, or what it used to be, maybe.
No, man.
only the locals are now able to purchase in those stores. Foreigners can't come in because there's a big problem apparently with a bunch of young French people coming across the border there and then buying cannabis and getting into trouble. It's all bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. And what it is now is they're posturing. Like all these other jurisdictions are posturing because they've been shown the formula. The formula is the government takes control of the sale of the licenses for cannabis. Those licenses are very costly, and the government takes their tax right off the top on the cannabis that's produced. So, hey, government, you'll get to make a whole bunch of money on the sale of cannabis, and they'll go like, oh, no, we're already making a whole bunch of money on prohibiting cannabis.
Yeah. So.
And they go, well, wait, hey, our model of how to do this means you can still make all that money on prohibiting the illegal cannabis, and you can cash in and be the biggest dealer in town on the legal cannabis. And it's guaranteed money. You take it off the top before it's even sold, you get your money. Trudeau takes $1 a gram on plant material.
Yeah.
That's 454 grams in a pound. So before that plant material, that farmers grow plant material of all different sorts all the time, and they bring it to market, and whatever cut is given to who or what along the way, the wholesaler, the truck drivers, the store, the whatever, it comes onto your table for somewhere at the high end around $6.99 a pound.
Yeah.
$6, not $699. If you're a cannabis person, you're mistaken. No, I'm talking about other things that aren't cannabis. That are grown by farmers,
pound,
and it doesn't yield as much. All these other crops, they don't yield as much as cannabis yields. It's an amazing crop for a farmer to grow. More biomass per cubic meter than anything else they would grow. And the only reason it comes to market at hundreds and thousands and even up to $10,000 a pound at $24 a gram, which is something that the government's charging already. If they're not, they're going to be. For the craft, the good cannabis, $24 a gram. That's $10,000 for a pound.
Does the female plant take in as much carbon dioxide as the hemp plant does?
I would imagine, but I'm not a scientist.
So if we're growing it outside, you're also helping the planet, not just yourself.
Of course.
Right?
Of
right?
course.
Yes, because we all know that plant takes in more than a tree does.
Well, we get our oxygen from the plants.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
You don't live without oxygen.
We don't need to create companies that'll have a carbon capturing system. We just need to be able to allow more hemp and cannabis to be grown, and it will probably take care of a lot of that problem because it takes in 4 or 5 times more carbon dioxide than a tree does. So that's really our answer to our thing instead of making another industry.
What I have been told is that most of the oxygen that's created by plant, switching carbon dioxide for oxygen comes from the oceans.
From the oceans too.
The oceans.
Wow.
But anyway, I mean, you're absolutely right. Stop cutting down and clear cutting all these trees.
Yeah.
Plants sort of in a balance here on this planet.
Hemp can replace it. We can manufacture and make wood and steel in the same mills. We don't have to retool some of those mills and have
cutting down all the trees.
And have people have their jobs to just be doing something different. That's all.
So I wish I could control all these things,
Yeah.
We can talk about it and we can say, hey, you should do this, you shouldn't do that.
They want to keep fucking war. So,
sure they do.
Love to the motherfucking love. I'm sorry, but I had to take that call because happy wife, happy life.
Yep.
It's 444. So love and blessings and spirits and good shit. And because it's 420 for everybody. I'm about 444. 333. 999. Never argue with your old lady if you can help it.
They're always right.
Because they're always right.
Always tell the truth.
But anyway, yes, of course, I always tell the truth. But love to the motherfucking love humans. And I'll see you back when I'm back in April the 3rd, 4th, or 5th. And
so
maybe I won't catch the Tuesday show.
Did you bring me more of your papers?
I'm going to bring it tomorrow, I said.
Okay,
tomorrow he's going to bring us more papers.
Because
Hit it hot, my friend.
Love to the motherfucking love humans. And peace out and enjoy the show.
All right.
Thanks, Piccoli.
Bye. See you.
Go change the world wherever you are.
I'm trying, man.
Turn all these people into love humans.
Man,
Have a good time in Mexico, my friend. I will see you tomorrow.
Baby steps.
And you're pushing it back. There we go. Assistant producer.
We're self-producing.
Thanks again, too, for the night.
We do self-producing. We do self-regulating.
We do that.
We look after ourselves. And we look after other people, too. And, this is the mission that we've been on for a long time here, myself and many of my colleagues. What we find in the cannabis community as we travel around and meet these other people that are doing similar things is that we have a shared focus, a shared passion. We say it's one heart. We have one heart.
We have one heart, and it's fucking a lovely heart. And I forgot to do this one too. Hey, I'm sorry, but hey, if you're in Manitoba, and I don't know why you ever want to be, but if you are, because it's beautiful sometimes, except for when the mosquitoes are and it's snowy. But go to Dauphin and go see Cloud9, go see Squirrel, my love human at Cloud9 fucking in Dauphin, because he's a love human too, and he can fucking hook you up with all kinds of love shit. So, love.
We're going to have to put a warning on the show.
I think I was video bombed.
For rebroadcast. It's no longer family friendly here.
That's going to get it.
Oh, we're all right.
Now we're going to get an R rating. And it's not
right.
for Rastafarian, which is what we were going for.
We're all right.
Hey, Casey, you got anything you want to talk about?
I'm pretty much outspoken today, but I appreciate it.
Okay.
Yeah,
you got things going on, though.
I do. Stay tuned, folks.
Okay. We'll get a report later on that stuff. There's a bunch of stuff going on there. It's a bit of a laid-back day today. There's not a lot to talk about.
Next week.
There are stories out there about how some of these cannabis stores are starting to break even, and that there's apparently more and more Canadians going to buy off of them, and I can understand that happening, but we got to keep on opposing that model that doesn't allow for people to get it at lower barriers, and I hope we are all getting that, and I hope that we all do that in whatever fashion you can. But I don't want to report on these stories that say they're doing a good job and they're going to make money now and they've got a good product, because I'm not happy with the whole thing.
Yeah.
And they continue to lobby against the Indigenous people having control over their cannabis production and distribution. They continue to lobby against anyone that's not part of the cartel, and so many people can't be part of the cartel. Yeah. You can't get your license.
If you've got a record for selling cannabis or possession of cannabis, you can't be one of those people.
And if and so there's just a ton of people that just can't be part of the cartel, even if they wanted to be. There's a financial cost involved. So many people started out wanting to have a store. Mm-hmm. You had to rent a store, have it there available, and then wait. And wait.
Yep.
And some people survived the 2 or 3 year long wait to eventually get their license. But who can survive that except for just a precious few?
Yeah.
So a lot of people were weeded out that way. And so what are you going to do? Those were interesting days. I don't know if you remember that, or maybe you weren't aware of that, but I was, traveling around talking with these people involved in stuff. They all wanted to be legal. Everybody wants to be legal. You don't want to be a criminal. Nobody wants to be a criminal, for God's sakes. We're good people, and we love cannabis, and we hate the laws, and so everybody just wants to be legal. Well, then they come along and say, okay, you can be legal, but these are the qualifications, and what you have to accomplish. Well, holy smokes, it's crazy, and it's ridiculous. Yeah. And it means that so many, and that's the point we were making, so many don't get to be legal, because they can't meet all those requirements, or they won't meet all those requirements. And then there's the financial side of it, and then there's the identifying yourself, and then there's the continue, because you're dealing with people that originally hated you. You're still dealing with these people that have spent so many tax dollars and spent so much time ruining people's lives to keep them from getting weed, and now they own these companies. And now they're running and making government policy, and now it's about government selling weed all of a sudden, and they're okay for them to do it, but they never liked the activists, the people that would defy the laws. We're potheads, we're bad people, we're stoners to them. So they just happily take advantage of us. They just smirk behind our backs and make us pay all kinds of different fees and taxes and put all these restrictions and regulations on, and behind closed doors they're just all chuckling away. We got them where we want them, and look what we're doing. We're making a bunch of money and everybody else was making money still good. This is a brilliant scheme by some very bad, unethical people, and it weeded out a whole bunch of people that were doing what they could to get their license. So what I was referring to, what was going on back then, is that you would apply for your license, mm-hmm. you would rent your space,
mm-hmm. You'd have to pay.
And in the case of those that wanted to be producers, other than retailers, they grew weed.
Yeah,
they were growing weed before anyway.
Yeah,
but now they're building facilities and they're putting in all this equipment, and all the time they're growing weed. Now, of course, none of that weed got out into the marketplace. That was all destroyed as per government edict. That was just experimental weed. That was just weed that, they had to get their crops going and understand how to grow all this stuff properly, according to government regulation, while they waited for their license, which was coming at any time, everybody always thought. So, as they get weeded out, what happens to them? Do they then stop growing and go away?
No.
They go underground.
Yeah.
Scared now because they've displayed who they are out there to the government, and now they got to be even more sneaky about it. And I'm not outing anybody, but
then in Melsa, you're right. You're totally right.
I know.
Yeah.
So, and that just suits the government just fine. They don't care. They don't care that so many people are not going to be able to get their licenses, and they are going to keep growing because that keeps that whole apparatus of prohibition intact. And my issue with the licensed producers and the retailers is those amongst them that are lobbying to continue to put down the unregulated side of the market because they're cutting into their profits, because they're not going through the legal channels, they're not doing it the right way like we did. It's not fair to us. We did all that, and they just get to open an illegal store somewhere and sell some weed. Yeah, I get all that, except that what system you're involved with, the model that you're involved with, selling at those prices, are hurting the whole movement, are hurting the whole quest for freedom. It is hurting our society of our community of cannabis users in the long run, big time. We cannot settle for this model. We cannot allow them to be so criminally hypocritical that they're going to have criminal charges for people growing weed that's not their licensed weed under some premise that it's dangerous for people. They got nothing else. They don't stand too much scrutiny to begin with. Nobody's able to any degree to really ask these questions. We're taking them to court. There will be some sort of a platform in there to be able to speak our truths. But will the media show up? Will they report on this?
No.
Will it become part of the public's dialogue on a daily basis about whether it's right or wrong for the government to so tightly control this plant that they have to use the criminal law and millions and billions of tax dollars to make sure that nobody uses the illegal weed anymore and only everybody just uses their weed? When it's so easy to grow, when it's so easy, and there's so many people that already have people that want them to grow for them, and they have been growing for them, and they've been helping feed their families with it. And why shouldn't they? There should be easy, low barrier access to cannabis marketplace for producers, growers, and sellers of cannabis. It should not be difficult. It should not be expensive.
And patience.
And patience.
Patience, medical people, because we seem to be so forgotten about that they just want
they're not cared about by the people that need to care about them.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
Exactly.
Well, I'm running out of
steam.
Voice.
Oh, yeah? All right.
I got lots of steam going on. I'm getting that out as best I can.
All right, I'll let you close. And
Yeah,
all right, well, I'll be back next week. I'll see you next week.
We got to go outside at some
Okay,
point,
outside?
right?
Okay,
Because it's just such a nice day out there.
It is a beautiful day.
And we gotta let people see it for themselves, because this could just be lighting.
We gotta prove it, right?
Yeah, because you know, in the movies, you know, when they're shooting a film and they want it to be a sunny day inside the house, they got these great big lights they set up outside the windows to make it to look like bright sunlight. And we're not fooling you. We're telling you the truth. This is like a nice summer day here in Vancouver, and we will go out there just for a minute, because I know the weather is the most important thing to a lot of people. You know, the media understands that. It's the people tune into the evening news to hear the weather. They check it all the time. It's a topic of conversation amongst the people all the time. It's the number one item of small talk that happens. It's always a topic of conversation. So for those of you who are tuned into the THC show just for our weekly Vancouver downtown east side weather reports, we will be going outside. And so, you know, weather's a good distraction, and it's a good thing for people to make, for governments to make political points on, and it's a good way for corporations to make a bunch of money on carbon tax and on things that people need to have, and on, you know, electric cars, and trying to keep your footprint small, even though all of it's just a bunch of BS and smokescreen money-making stuff. If they really wanted to have a small footprint, if they really wanted to give us energy that wasn't so damned expensive. But our society is ruled by the financial elite that you know, they're got the harness on all of these things, and anything that comes along that's going to disrupt that, their little profit gravy train, gets severely put down. And it's unfortunate. And one of the biggest things that has the ability to do that is cannabis. Cannabis, in its original prohibition, if you want to go back into the United States in the very early part of the 1900s, it was a big deal, and it was a much bigger deal than people realized. It was a big part of medicine back then. Up until the late 1800s, cannabis had been, you know, one of the primary medicines in the States. It was being sold in all sorts of different forms. And, you know, medicine is big money, for sure. And in the bigger cities in the United States, there's a lot of people there. And this whole, you know, it's a merging of different concepts, all designed to make money, is what it's about. It's about entrepreneurs and salespeople that could see a bargain, that could see a path to having big profits. And they seized upon those. And they seized upon it at a time when people were innocent. And people had faith in governments and faith in God, and trusted what was written in newspapers and magazines. And they were just naive to the truth about what was really going on back then, which was the early formations of this corporate network that's going on today, of these super rich and connected organizations that have really got it going on when it comes to forcing what it is that we produce and consume, and how that's all done. And they're the ones that run government. They're the ones that allow the freedom that we think we have here, allow for this kind of stuff, all because it just works into their benefit. And we were naive back then, you know, 120 years ago. And I know that's true. I was, you know, I'm old enough to go back, and I know the mentality, the mindsets of so many of the ordinary people, you know, 50 years ago. And I've seen it change so much. And I've seen that the governments have become so sophisticated in what they do and how they do it. And we are kind of in the brunt of all of that at this point. We've come to that point where we're in the crux of this ever-escalating evolution on both sides of the truth and the greed coming together. The greed doesn't represent the truth. That's why the truth is what we use to win out over the greed. Because the truth is that these corporations don't need to make that much money. They shouldn't be raping the earth the way that they are, taking our resources and selling them to us the way that they are. They shouldn't be able to monopolize the marketplace the way that they do. They shouldn't be able to gouge consumers the way that they do. They shouldn't be able to force human beings into their funnel of profit when trying to access the very basic necessities of life. But they do. They're tied up in the media. They own and control all of that. They're tied into the whole, everything is controlled and connected that facilitates their ability to glean as much energy and resources, money and time off of the populace, off of the masses of people. They keep us distracted, overwhelmed, confused, drunk, angry. We have all these sports going on. We have all these scandals going on. We've got movie stars having three-ways with politicians. And that's what people are all caught up in. I've watched the people be manipulated to where they're stuck in their screens and they're stuck in their heads. And the worlds that they imagine are not quite what reality is. In reality, we've been owned as chattel by the financial elite for millennia. They've been handing it down through families and organizations. They have learned to be very sophisticated in how they manipulate our education system, our advertising. So much is influenced based on this agenda of control and profit. So here we are. And I know, you maybe think I'm being a little bit too, full of it when I say that we are here at the crux of it. But I believe that we are. I believe that this is the issue that people can actually wrap their brains around and see the criminal hypocrisy that's going on here. That they can understand that what's really happened is that the normal, ordinary person who's not in the elite classes has been kidnapped for generation after generation after generation. We've been given the freedoms that we have right now because of the truth and people that won't stop fighting for it. But only because they figure out ways to have it suit them in the process. So this freedom and democracy still suits them. They can give lip service through their fancy-mouthed politicians, don't forget the hair, about how free we are, and about how much they're just servants of ours, and about how they have all of our best interests in mind, and they're doing their due diligence on all of these things that are important to us, and we can just trust them. When in reality, they're in the pockets of the financial elite and playing out their objective of controlling people and being able to glean as much as they can off of us. And the future doesn't look bright if they're able to succeed at that. And we're in the crux of it, because in this issue, it can probably, hopefully, be made simple and clear for people to understand. Somebody's got to come up with some really simple, really powerful memes that display just how criminally hypocritical this is. They're using vast amounts of our money that should be used for things that are really of value to us, to prevent us and restrict us in our access to a plant that should be encouraged by public servants or anybody who's trying to run a country by being benevolent, by helping the people. You would help them get access to cannabinoids. That molecule, or those molecules within cannabinoids, are the essence of life. It's where most of our medicine is. It can be the basis of most of our industry and most of our textiles and most of our building materials and most of our fuel. Well, I think we should use the sun mostly for fuel. But the point is that this is not a dangerous commodity that warrants government intervention with the criminal law at the expense of human citizens' lives and livelihoods to prevent access to. There is no logical reason for any of that. It's a smokescreen and an illusion all grown out of bullshit to control one of the most valuable things in our world and to control all of the people that are in it. This is such a fight that they have exposed themselves. I don't know if you're familiar with the tale of the emperor who wore no clothes. But he was so full of himself and so delusional about his power and abilities that there he was standing naked before everybody thinking he was wearing clothes that they could see. Well, our politicians, on behalf of those corporations, are not just naked, but they're prone. And they're begging for it with their cheeks pulled apart. They couldn't be more obviously wrong on this file, in this issue. It should be extremely clear to anybody that has any sort of a look at it, and we're hoping that the judge has the ability to be unbiased and have a good look at it. It should be abundantly clear that there's no justification for what the government's doing. And what the government has done in the process of doing what they're doing, they've gotten extreme. They've gotten prone and spread eagle. Because look what they did to Ted Smith. He gets a $6.5 million fine for defying the Cannabis Act. $6.5 million fine. Who's ever gotten that before, and what did they do? Well, how much carnage does there need to be in the common law scales of justice of how much damage you did to warrant and justify a penalty to balance that scale? How much damage must Ted Smith and the Cannabis Buyers Club of Victoria done to warrant a $6.5 million fine? Other friends of mine have paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to this corrupt CSU in British Columbia. They are using as much force as they can muster. And we must be able to see that as a population, as a people, that this is outrageously wrong. We've got a scourge of people dying from fentanyl poisoning in the hard drug supply, and they're not mustering anywhere near the amount of force against that as what they do against people accessing unsafe cannabis, unregulated cannabis. My goodness. You're going to be allowed to carry, you are in British Columbia, allowed to carry up to 2 grams of fentanyl on your person. But don't be caught with illegal cannabis growing in your basement. Don't be caught with some flowers, because the full weight of the criminal law is coming down on you. Why? Why? It's because it's big money. There's no other reason. It is big, huge dollars. Cannabis is illegal because of how valuable it is, not because it was ever dangerous in the first place. And the value on that is such that on behalf of these corporations and with their urging and their encouragement and their money, the government is coming down on anybody that would dare now interfere with the cartel, prior to that have anything to do with selling cannabis in any form or way. 16 cruisers, all funded by taxpayers, all filled with heavily armed, trained, and paid police officers, had to come out and try to quelch the little protest and fundraiser that we had because cannabis was involved, and the threat to the bottom line profits of the licensed producers and the licensed retailers is so great that they're going to bring out all of that force. The City of Vancouver mayor can spend tens of thousands of dollars fencing off a park and then bring in dozens and dozens of police officers on double time and triple time to thwart and quell any violations and disobedience to the Cannabis Act. They have unlimited amount of our money to do that with. They have the power to evoke criminal law against people who are clearly not criminals at all. And we best not be just fooled and hypnotized by it and idly go about our lives without recognizing that it's going on. And because we care about whether or not we've been kidnapped, really, don't we? If people really understood the threat that exists for our near future and the generations to come of a tightly controlled and surveyed world of people who are free to obey, and that's it. And if you don't, you're punished. And it's not going to be hard for them to do that. I have hope that there's enough good people recognizing what's going on that will continue the fight for freedom on all of its different fronts. But on this front in particular, we are coming up right at the crux of it. We are going to lay out properly the medical value of cannabis, the injustice of the criminalization of the production and distribution of Mother Nature's greatest plant, most beneficial plant. And we're going to lay it at the feet of the courts and see what they do. And we're going to hope that the media shows up and reports on it properly. And I'm optimistic that we can get a good result. If not this round, in the next round, or the next round. We'll see. We've got even more ammunition than we had. And we've got one hell of a caseload of ammunition that will prove the medical value of cannabis and that will show the criminal hypocrisy of this government and previous governments in using our money and the criminal law against people wanting to freely access this plant. So we'll see what happens. I hope it becomes, the way of the future. I believe that cannabis can save us, and I believe we need saving. And as frivolous as that might sound, I hope I've laid it out for you, that it's not frivolous at all. If they can get away with continuing the criminality of us citizens for having relationships with Mother Nature and plants, that includes psychedelics and other things as well, then we are not free, we will not be free, we will never be free until we can at least overcome this one obstacle. So hopefully we can win out. And what I was mentioning about we have more ammunition going into this court case is that the case that we covered on this show in depthly for a long time, went on for several years. The 3 dispensary owners in Saskatchewan who, were providing cannabis with, as much of medical protocol as they could figure out, as to how the government would prefer it to be dispensed, wanting to be legal, wanting to be part of legalization as they believed it would happen, and then they were told it would happen, and then it happened, and then they weren't included. And they were ordered to shut down. And of course, you can't shut down when you have a medical cannabis dispensary and hundreds of people and thousands of people are relying on you for their very existence and well-being. So as good ethical human beings, They soldiered on until the authorities decided to come down hard on them, and they arrested them, charged them, shut down their businesses, chased them and scared them and threatened them for 7 years through the courts, and with millions and millions of dollars racked up for taxpayers to pay by a corrupt crown, representative of the crown, who then all of a sudden decided, well, you win. We're dropping all the charges. It's not in the public's interest to carry on any further. And yeah, you can have your stuff back. Wow. Just wow. Nobody's no inquiry into this. There's no oversight into this. There's no regulatory board for crown councils. They don't have to justify. Well, we were just wrong, that's all. We thought we had a case against these people, that's all. We didn't know they were going to start telling the truth all the time. We didn't know they had good lawyers and lots of information and evidence that they weren't hurting anybody, they were helping people. We didn't know that we had a good chance of being exposed in court at the end. Oh, yes, they did. Oh, yes, they did. But they just dragged it out and dragged it out and dragged it out until it all just kind of fades into, history and goes away. Well, we're not going to let it go away. We're going to build on it. And we're going to build on the Howell decision and the Allard decision and so many other decisions before that. And eventually, hopefully, the truth will win out. And we can get the change that we're looking for. We'll see. Anyway, a quick visit outside. I guess I'll take that with me.
Okay.
Your lighter,
You have my letter, yes.
Don't let me steal that.
No, I won't.
All right, here it goes.
Is it
The
my
moment of truth. You were hoping it'd be real, and it's real. This is typical Vancouver weather.
This is a beautiful day.
On a nice day. I don't know what it's like in Hawaii or, in England. It's probably foggy in England. But I'm sure there's other beautiful places. But the sunshine, the mountains, the ocean breeze, just, so much. This is like the worst part of town. But when it's a day like today, it still feels like it's
So
beautiful
nice,
here.
yeah. Nice and warm.
3 years and going on 5 months now. We've been relegated to an RV. I mean, in the summertime on a nice day, it can almost be kind of cool. You're just hanging out in an RV all day long, helping people get cannabis and helping people. But realistically, I mean, this is such a travesty that our governments would leave us like this here to provide this service to people out the side window of an RV for 3 years and 5 months and going on who knows how long. No dignity for cannabis users, no dignity for the poor people, no dignity for the people that would like to try to escape the scourge of addiction and poverty that goes with it. That is all created for the most part by government policies to begin with. There's no dignity for these people. They don't get to go into a store like these people do and buy old clothing. They don't get to go into a store like that and buy whatever people want to put out on a table except for cannabis. No dignity for people who want to use cannabis. And there's millions of people that want to use cannabis. The producers are producing millions and millions of pounds of cannabis. Too much to get that it doesn't even get into the marketplace. But that's their projections on what people are going to use. Hundreds and thousands of stores now run with government licenses to try to satisfy the need. The sale of cannabis has surpassed the sale of both tobacco and wine combined. Millions of people want access to cannabis. And for those people that can't meet the barriers of the Cannabis Act, that don't have the money to be able to afford that high-end connoisseur cannabis, they're relegated to an illegal RV. That is not too bad on a day like today. But as we've seen, the winters and the summers, the heat domes, the rain that we get on the wet coast here, and all of the rest of it, and people are vulnerable standing there in a lineup. And we've had issues with people being verbally abused. We've had lots of issues with lots of things. There's been violence here. That doesn't happen if you can get into a storefront and give people some level of dignity to be able to go and get what they want for themselves. It's a travesty and a half that these corporations are forcing people to have either zero dignity or enough money to afford the fare. Anyway. We got a camera going on here.
Oh yeah.
So if you guys are not okay with the camera,
No, it's totally fine.
you're fine. This is Pop TV going on here.
Good.
How do you like the RV?
We love it. We come here every day.
Would you rather have a store you could walk into and then have
Either or would be great.
They're not as friendly.
That's true, yeah.
I'm running the
That's
show.
true, that's
You
true.
don't get free joints when you walk by.
Yeah.
You can't afford it.
Yeah.
Ones
Nobody
that are
else
free
does
food
that.
customers.
I'm telling you, when we had our store for 5 months before this,
Yeah, I know. I was in it.
and when we have our store after this,
Yeah.
we will be equally as friendly. We
No,
will
you'll
be
be even
equally
more.
as
You'll
friendly.
be even more
We'll
friendly.
be even more friendly.
Because we'll be able to stand in front of you and not
That's
out the
right.
window.
You don't have to be at this type of a...
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
no, I'm still...
This young lady uses THC medicinally for joint pain.
Right?
That is
I-
very, very important.
Saturday is my 6-year anniversary
Of what?
of getting off drugs.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
Congrats.
my weed is my safety, my weight.
Yeah.
I make weed and
Haven't done
alcohol.
crack since I was 25, and I'm 59 now. So
Oh.
thank you,
More power to
thank
you.
you to cannabis. Yes.
Yeah, but
So-
I make tincture with alcohol.
So
I take-
suffice to say you think cannabis has been a benefit in your life.
Oh, it is a total benefit.
And suffice to say you would appreciate to have reasonable access.
I'd rather bounce off a weed than anything else.
Yeah.
That's a good way of looking at it.
Well, thanks for giving us your thoughts there. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And,
Good to see you, Neil.
we'll keep trying to provide it as best we can. For
Remember,
as long as
Tuesday
we
we'll
can.
be here
Okay.
at the court.
Yeah,
Tuesday,
next
Wednesday,
Tuesday,
and
1 week
Thursday.
I
today.
work Tuesday.
Well, Wednesday, Thursday.
Wednesday, Thursday.
Be-
Although Jack says that maybe it'll only go 2 days.
Oh no, I don't know
What
2
time
days.
does it
Okay.
start?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock we have we'll start a
session.
live feed and go and then another one at the end of the day.
Bonus. I come by here in the morning because sometimes I see people have the window open.
Oh,
Yeah.
So
I
We'll
come
go
out
over
a
every
couple
little session
times
before
and I
it's
look
poured.
and see if it's open.
yeah.
We've had lots of break-ins recently too.
I want to say something, but I don't want to get stabbed.
Yeah, yeah.
But I know
All
there's
right.
nothing in there.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Have a good
That's
day.
our biggest defense is to have nothing in there to steal.
Exactly.
We even put a sign out that says that,
Exactly.
but they
don't
still
read.
break in.
They don't read.
I guess they can't
Have a good
read.
day.
That would be what it is. They can't read.
Yeah.
Do you need to talk to me right away, Peter? You want to just give me that, or you want money? Can you wait for 10 minutes?
Let's go.
Now I got to borrow from Paul to pay Peter.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What about Mary?
Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Peter, Paul, and Mary. Yeah.
Aha! I heard there was reasonable access.
Yeah. Low barrier access.
With that lady.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, her and her boyfriend have, they said like, hey, do you want to come volunteer with us? And I'm like, I don't know if I ever sold myself going to
Wow.
shop, but
Shamble, wow, eh? Shambles.
I was completely against it when I started here. I'm like, no, I don't do festivals. Now I'm like, I don't know.
It'll change your life,
Oh, I heard. Yeah, I want to. Well, in memory of my friend John too.
right?
I'd like to go maybe.
John, who just passed away at Shambhala this past year?
No, different. The guy that when I first started here, that kind of got me to stay. My buddy that overdosed. Yeah.
I see.
So he went to Shambhala. He was always doing shit like that. And I was
Right.
like, oh, have fun. Help someone
One of their main organizers named John was found dead in the river this year.
Oh,
And passed away.
I heard that.
like did he
We don't.
just
I
an
don't know.
accident?
Yeah,
Arguing
accident.
too hard?
Yeah,
I
drunk
don't know
or
what
something.
the official report was on it.
I like to think that he had as much fun as he could.
I hope everybody does that.
Yeah.
I do. It's a great way to live, especially in today's world. I'm going to close this up here.
Doesn't matter. We're okay.
Wow. It's noisy out there. You know.
Excellent choice. I love these things.
Reminds me of an interview that I did with one of the local media about what was going on here. And you know, the opioid crisis is in full bloom visibility here, and the fire trucks are going all the time, and most of the time they're not going to a fire.
No.
They're going to an overdose. And
For a medical
at the
reason.
end of the article, she quoted me as saying, "So many fire trucks, so few fires."
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so that's kind of it.
See, the window should have stayed open.
Well, not really.
Yeah, I know, but it would have been easier.
Not really.
The alarms or the sirens.
It is what it is, I guess.
It is.
There's only two types of things in life, those you can change and those you can't.
Yeah.
And we do our best amongst sometimes chaotic circumstances, and that's what we're trying to do here is continue to make things work. I hope you can all bear with me as we go through this. So that's probably more than enough.
Yeah.
Well, you don't want to take a look at our clean van?
There you go. Oh, there you go. I did.
By our
There you go.
standards, it's pretty
Thank you
good.
to Molly Maid.
Underneath the carpets.
Yeah.
Into the
Put in the
corner.
closet.
Yeah.
I grabbed the broom and took it. It was like 2 minutes of work. It wasn't that bad, you know?
Yeah, it looks very good.
I saw
Much
Kevin
cleaner.
with the broom in his hand earlier today
It took
too.
so little. I
So.
don't know why we don't do that.
Other than the free promotion of the one of the more bigger poisons in the hey, don't point your camera.
I haven't eaten one. I might, though.
You probably have.
No, he did.
No, I'm talking about him.
I love those things.
Anyway, we're just having fun here because that's what we try to do.
Yeah.
You know, the world's messed up and it's screwed up, but you know, we're trying to unscrew it and unmess it, and that's all we're doing. And
I'm screwed up.
you know, we know we're doing the right thing, and we know that we're helping people, and we're going to continue doing that as best we can in the future. And we want to tell our story, and we want the story to be told because it's a very powerful story. So I appreciate all you people watching. I hope you're sharing this out as best you can. Hopefully we've provided a lot of good information, and hopefully we've opened some eyes about the realities of the world and the fact that we can't just sleepwalk our way through this and imagine it'll be okay for the generations to come. We need to do something about it here and now and as best we can. So get friendly with sending emails and making phone calls and talking to your public servants and talking to the people of influence and trying to get the people that can make a difference to do their best to understand and make the proper difference. And we got to do it for each other. We got to do it for the future generations. Because we're people and they're just machines looking to make as much money off of us as they can, and we're just numbers to them. But we're people to us. And so for all of us people,
Hello.
let's be
No, I love
compassionate citizens, going through life, making the world a better place as we go. And it starts at home. You got to have your own mind and body as best in order as you can. So do that. Eat right, sleep right, think right, talk right, and remember that life is short. It can end at any moment. It's way too serious to take too serious. What you got to do, what you can do, what you're in charge of doing, is having as much fun as you can. I'll see you next week.